when you stray. No one remembers your name.
That's me. Showtime.
You're strange.
They weren't there when you broke. They weren't there when you begged God in whispers no one else could hear. I know you sit there sometimes, staring at the ceiling, asking yourself why it had to be you. Why you sacrificed your time, your energy, your peace, only to end up empty-handed. Let me tell you the truth they don't put in storybooks. Life doesn't care about fairness. The world doesn't care how much you loved, how much you tried, how much you deserved. It doesn't matter how good you are. People will still use you, leave you. That's the ugly side of reality. Your value doesn't disappear because they couldn't see it. You want to know the real reason you're hurting so bad? It's not because they left. It's not because they broke you. It's because deep down you thought they were permanent. And permanence is the deadliest illusion in this life. Nothing stays. People change, feelings fade, promises die. That's why you feel broken, because you believed in forever, in a world built on temporary that makes you human. The truth is, the only permanence you'll ever have is yourself. Think about all the nights you broke down, all the days you carried the weight alone. Nobody came to save you, did they? Nobody knocked on your door and said, "Here, let me carry your pain." It was you. Always you. And that's the lesson the pain is trying to teach you. Stop expecting rescue. Stop expecting apologies that will never come. The world doesn't hand out justice. It hands out scars. They're not signs of weakness. They're medals of survival. You didn't deserve what happened to you. The lies, the abandonment. But deserving better doesn't mean you'll get better handed to you. This world doesn't reward innocence. It preys on it. So why in the hell would their opinion matter now? You can cry, you can scream, you can fall to your knees in the dark. That's human. But don't you dare stay there.
Okay, people, welcome back. Or, if it's your first time here, welcome to the channel. This is going to be episode 8 of Talking Real with Phil. I surely hope that every one of you had a good week. Everything's going well. If not, it's something you want to talk about, leave it down in the comments. We'll chop it up. I'll respond to all comments. My week was rather hard. I got to see my wife and my son this week, and it was amazing. Of course, my wife looked as beautiful as ever. My son had grown so much, it was hard for me to recognize him. Kind of upset. My daughter had to work. She wasn't able to come. But I'd had a couple of presents just for his birthday, even though that was 2 months ago. It's just the only time that you get down. I've talked about this in my real videos before. You know, when you have to compartmentalize pieces of your life. I found that it was actually very hard to be around my wife because it's different, right? I mean, you have 20 years with this person and you're not the same person anymore. They're not the same person anymore. And you spent so much time working on or trying to fix marriage, trying to hold on to love. And ever since my car wreck, that was just basically the end of everything for marriage and family. Although I've been very honest and I said that a lot of this was my fault, and I felt like it was more or less a slow death to the marriage before that accident came about. That accident just pretty much made it instantaneous, or it made it a lot quicker. It speeded up the process, right? When I say that it was a slow death, I felt like our marriage was a slow death. before the accident. I say that because it felt like that I didn't know how to fix it. She didn't know how to fix it. We both knew something was wrong. So in turn, that would end up every day and every night in a house in all these rooms filling up with everything we didn't say. Even though we're in each other's presence, we didn't know how to fix it. And the silence just consumes you. It does. It consumes you. But when I say a slow death, it's very hard to explain. If you've been through it, you know it. If you haven't, I hope you don't. And maybe that's not the right phrasing for me to put it, a slow death, but that's how I'm going to explain it. Because you don't have a funeral, okay? There's no funeral after this. So this person doesn't leave this earth. There's not a quote unquote last goodbye or formal act of closure. I guess a lot of people would say divorce papers would be that, but that's not the case for me. So when I went from after the accident and not having my wife, my daughter, my son around me, it's like I went back to an empty space. The empty space I was familiar with because of what I just said, but it's different. It's not the same because now you're here by yourself. You don't have rooms filled with your family members. There's an absence. I have the echoes of her footsteps walking away from me when she was mad. Or I have echoes in my head of doors slamming. All that's gone. This is just a void, and we got to get used to that. So I have loved my wife, and I still love my wife with every sunrise and sunset of every day. That's just going to be a fact, okay? One of the differences for me now is that I can recognize, and now I'm aware, what is probably the healthiest and the most honest path forward for the both of us is not being together. And I know that now. I see that now. That's one difference. It really fucking sucks because you have all this love, all these memories, all these expectations, and you're having trouble learning how to deal with them, learning where to put them. And the word trigger is used way too often in today's society. I always kind of thought that was gay, but I honestly don't know another word to say, so we're gonna go with trigger, even though I really hate to hear it all the time. You now have triggers that you didn't even know exist. You have a smell. You hear a phrase off the TV show. You're watching a movie. Or you hear a song. All of these just out of the blue. For instance, I had to stop mid-sentence the other night. I was in the living room talking to my mother. And I literally stopped mid-sentence because I seen a commercial of the movie The Notebook coming on. Forgot what we were talking about, but I literally stopped and said, okay, wow. And I had to take a breath. Because I seen that, and instantly my mind went to my wife reading this novel every night in bed with her light on. And then it fast forwarded to when the movie was released and how I was the only husband that went to the theater with my wife and 4 of her friends. Talk about an uncomfortable fifth wheel. But that's where my head went. Regardless, that's where my head went instantly. So yeah, I don't have another word to say triggers. But regardless, that was probably that entire event took maybe 12 seconds. I literally had to stop. I got the flashes. I said, wow. And then I had to rejoin the conversation. It comes out of the blue. That's going to happen. It sucks when those things happen, but it still happens. You still have to function. Your life's still going to go on. And again, you have to learn to compartmentalize these emotions, these thoughts, these feelings. You got to work through it. And you have to still be a functioning adult. So, I take that into consideration. I had 8 seconds of a flashback. You take that shit and you set it on the shelf with all the other shit out of your mind, out of sight. Set it right there next to what color does a Smurf turn if you choke it. Shit that you'll probably never figure out. Just leave it there and don't go back to it until necessary. That's what I had to do. Maybe you're not the same way. Maybe you deal with it differently. So you put it on the shelf with those Smurfs and you have to go on with your day. And it's hard. It's really hard. You're grieving for this love and this hole, this person. Again, like I said, no formal goodbye or ending, no closure. And at times that makes you feel helpless. It really does. It makes you feel like your heart is in 2 places at the same time. And that's a very helpless feeling. You loved so much. You loved without reserve. You opened yourself up, which in turn causes you to be vulnerable. I will say this, and we'll end the video. As much as all of that sucks, and it fucking sucks, the pain, the grief, along with the fact that you couldn't make this work, all these things, just because you're fractured doesn't mean you're completely broken. And I can say that to you honestly, because I don't have hate and rage, bitterness in my heart. I'm not shut down or shut off from the world. I'm still talking into this phone, making this video to post for you guys to see. That simply shows me a growth and maturity that I still surprise myself with, that I didn't have. And for now, that's enough solace for me. Some days are better than others. I wish you guys a very good day, very good night, afternoon, week. Whenever you're watching this, I wish you the best. I want to thank you guys for coming and hanging out. There's other places you can be, and you can be watching other people do other things, but you're here with me in this video. And for that, I'd like to say thank you for coming and hanging out and watching episode 8 of Talking Real with me, Phil. I'll see you guys next time.
Now, I know that some of you think this is very funny, words like penis and vagina. Now stop that, okay? We're going to get through this by being mature and grown up, okay? Now, in order to have intercourse, okay, the man takes his penis and he... let's see. The man takes his penis and he...
Dude, haven't you ever had intercourse, Mr. Mackey?
Well, sure I have. It's just, I was about 19 at the time. It's been about 21 years. Pretty sure I took the penis and what the hell did I do with that damn thing?
All this talk of getting old is getting me down my